If you're a local service business and you're just launched your local service ads or LSAs, but you're not seeing any traction and it's been a few days, a week, or even a month, and you're just wondering, why am I not getting leads? In this video, I'm going to address that and some things that you need to look into to ensure that your LSAs are set up for success so you can start generating leads. I have definitely had my fair share of clients where I set up LSA accounts and it takes weeks or even months to even start getting traction. And it really just depends on how competitive the industry is, the budgets that you're working with for LSAs, and the trust factors that you have for your business on your Google business profile. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. When you set up a local service ad, just because that you give it the right information to get the background check and you gave the certifications and whatever other information that Google needs, just because you have that doesn't mean that it's going to start getting you leads right out of the gate. There's things that you need to do to set up your account and campaign for success. I already have a video about how to optimize your LSA account. I'll drop that in the description below. This video is more of how to troubleshoot your account if you just launched but you're not really seeing much traction. What do you have to do? So let's go ahead and take you through these different things that I would look at in order to figure out what's going on. Assuming that you have already optimized your LSA account the right way, and by checking the video that I'm dropping in the description below for you to watch and also optimize, then come back to this video later and re-review to ensure that you have things set up to at least get the engine started and start revving that thing up so that you can start getting leads. Assuming that you have a properly set up LSA account with all the right business details, services, hours, photos, bio highlights, etc., and you got approved with the background check, but you're not getting any leads. This is actually very common these days. So let's talk about the 5 things that I would recommend you look at. Number 1 is confirm your bid strategy. I recommend starting with maximize conversions. And I know that this might be kind of scary because when you put maximize conversions, Google can then just spend all of your weekly budget on one lead and you're done. Typically, I don't see that happening, but I want you to be realistic with the budget that you're setting. Before we even look at the maximize conversions and how to set your bid strategy, I want everyone who's watching this video to go to this URL, business.google.com/US. Just copy this and open up a tab. I want everyone here that's running LSAs to confirm what the average cost per lead is in your area, so you know at the top of your head how you can be budgeting correctly, because you actually might not be budgeting enough to even get results with your ad campaign. So I'm going to give you guys an example. This is for a bankruptcy lawyer in Colorado Springs. I'm just going to pick the zip code and I'm going to say I want, let's say, 10 leads per month, and I'm going to select bankruptcy lawyer. Okay, and then this calculator is going to estimate how much it's going to cost to get 10 leads in this area, and it's saying 1,500 to 2,250. So on the back of the napkin math here, I'm going to just pull up my Excel sheet, and it's going to be around, well, $150 to $225 per lead. And that's actually what I'm seeing within my LSA currently. So I can confirm that Google is pretty accurate with the way that it's forecasting from this specific calculator on their local service ad page. So you just have to go to local service ad page, scroll down, and then you can do the calculation. So if it's going to cost you $150 to $225 per lead, let's just assume on the high end that it's going to cost you $225 per lead. And you want to get 10 leads. So you need at least a budget of $2,250. And this is per month. And within LSAs, you're setting a budget by week. So 2,250 divided by 4. I'm going to just quickly do the math here, and that is $562, $563 per week. So that's how much it's saying that we're going to need in order to get at least 10 conversions or 10 leads. So with LSAs, you're paying per lead. So this is how you can do a little bit of forecasting to know what your average budget should be, assuming that you have an idea of how many leads you want and the area that you are targeting and the service type. So within the leads tab or within the local service ads dashboard, we are going to check the profile and budget and ensure that we have automated bidding maximize leads button here. You can have that if you want to lock it into a specific cost per lead and say, hey, Google, do not exceed 225. You can do that. But I would say to start out, don't put a target cost per lead. Just let it do its thing. Let it mature and start getting you data before you start trying to give it constraints. So that's what I have for you on that. And then your average weekly budget would be, assuming that you want 10 leads per month, then we would want 563 leads per $563 to be spent per week. So that would be 4 leads per week multiplied by 4, so it's between 10 and 16 leads. So that's what I would do, is first make sure that your bidding strategy is set to automated bidding with maximized leads with no constraints, just to let it start revving up. And then just double check to see what your average monthly budget should be, and then your weekly budget from that, and set that. But of course, as you see here, and this is just an example, my average weekly budget of $10 is not going to get anything. I actually intentionally did this because I wanted to slow down the amount of leads that were coming in on the specific campaign. But if you actually want to start getting leads, then you need to do the forecasting to then determine what your weekly budget should be. But on a budget of $10 per week, we're not going to get anything, because the average cost for one lead is $150 to $225 on the high end. So $10 isn't going to cut it. And that's why we haven't been getting much action on the specific campaign, but that was intentional. The next thing is check your targeted areas. I work with a lot of clients that are very, very targeted. And sometimes when you're too targeted or have very specific zip codes, it might work against you. So I would just say try to be broad. But if you're very, very specific in the areas that you can serve, then I would just say keep it. But what I found is sometimes clients tend to be too tight. And then once I find that we are too tightly targeted and I convince the client to open it up and start getting leads from a little bit of outside of where they're currently targeting, then we start getting some action. So you might need to open things up a little bit if you have very tight targeting. With LSAs, you cannot do radius targeting. It can only be zip code, county, and city. Oh, right here. County, city, neighborhood, or zip code. The next thing that I want you to look at is your trust signals. So you can have everything set up properly in your LSA account, but if you don't have trust signals, meaning the reviews and you're not actively getting reviews, that's going to be working against you. Even if you answer the phone after one ring, even if you have done everything that you possibly could from it optimizing your profile perspective, if you're not actively getting reviews, that could be working against you. So I have a client actually, we launched their LSA probably about a month ago, and it took all the way up until today. And that was the reason why I wanted to create this video. It took all the way up until today, like 1 month later, to start getting leads. And today we got 4. It just automatically started flowing in because we were actively working on getting trust signals. My goal is to get at least 1 to 2 reviews per week. After you complete every job, you should be asking for reviews. That's going to signal to Google that you actually care and that you are working to build your online reputation, and then you get rewarded by getting shown more for the LSAs, and you get the ability to get leads coming from the LSA Google Guarantee ads. Next thing that I want you to look at, assuming that you confirm your bid strategy, that you checked your targeted areas, and you are working on your trust signals, or let's say you already have strong trust signals, check your lead report for impression metrics. So the way to check your lead report is to go to this little hamburger here on the profile and budget, then click on reports. And then this is what I want you to pay attention to here. Ad impressions, top impression rate on search, absolute top. What the heck does this actually mean? These are telling metrics because they show us where our ads even served. And you can open this up to a larger time frame. But I just have the last 30 days and I had 122 impressions, top impression share rate on search 100%, and then absolute top is 88%. What does this mean? This means that our ads were served 122 times. If you have been active, let's say for a month, and you've got 0 impressions, that means something's definitely holding your ads back from appearing. Could it be your budget? Could it be your bidding? Could it be that you are not working hard enough on your trust signals? There's definitely something that's holding you back. If you've been live for a while and you have a strong enough budget, you might have some other things that are holding you back. So if you're getting a lot of impressions but no leads, that's another problem, because that means that people are not engaging. But usually when you get enough leads with LSAs, you should be able to start getting leads coming through because LSAs don't require any particular ad copy to be shown. It just requires your picture and your business name and all the other details that go along with having the profile. And then the other 2 metrics that I want you to pay attention to are top impression rate on search and absolute top. What does this mean? This means that out of all the times that we actually served on Google, we served 100% of the time in the top 3 positions. We've got very, very strong positioning on the search results page for the LSAs. This is great. I would love to always see 100% here. I would love to see 100% here. But it's very unlikely that you'll see 100% on both unless you are in an industry that doesn't have any competitors. If there are a lot of competitors, then your number here is probably going to be a lot lower. But this is good. What I'm seeing here is that out of all the times that this client is eligible to appear, they're appearing 10 out of 10 times in the top 3 positions. Very strong share of voice, very strong impression rate. Absolute top impression rate on Google is, of the times that you're shown in position 1 at the very top. During the selected date range here, percentage of impressions that are shown in the very first ad in the search results. So 8 out of 10 times this client's appearing in the first ad slot. That's a very, very strong. So what I found is in this Colorado Springs area for this specific industry, there's not a lot of competition. You don't need that many ad impressions to generate leads. You only need 122. And that's for this. So that is about a 3% click-through rate. And that's enough to appear in the top 3 positions 100% of the time, and also let you appear in the top position, number 1, 8 out of 10 times. So this is really strong data that's telling me that this account could spend more, could do more, if I were to throw more budget at it. But if you are noticing that you're not getting any ad impressions, then something's definitely holding you back. But if you're getting ad impressions, but you're not getting any leads, that's definitely a problem as well. You might want to look into your ad scheduling, your budgeting, your bid strategy, your pictures, all those other things that I talk about in my LSA Google Guarantee optimization video. Definitely look into optimizing that in order to rev up the engine. And then the last thing that I want you to look at into doing, and I know every Google rep wants you to do this, but if you don't have a sufficient budget, you're just not going to be getting results. So that's why at the very beginning of this video, I wanted to run this forecast to let you know what is reasonable and what you should be setting your budget at, given the competitiveness and what Google is forecasting. And from there, you would set it based off of the forecasted numbers. So if you're just not getting a much traction, you might want to just test out with bumping up your ad budget more until you start getting traction, and then potentially lowering it depending on how many leads that are coming in. Honestly, it is a trial and error thing, but I know how frustrating it could be, especially if you've gone through a lot of hoops in order to even get approved, and then you're just not getting any traction, like no impressions, no leads, nothing. So that's why I created this video, because I wanted to at least allow you to troubleshoot and see. Sometimes it's just completely normal that you could go weeks and months without even getting traction. But definitely check these things, optimize your account based off of these things, and as well as the other things in my other LSA optimization video I'll drop in the description below. If you have any questions on LSAs or need any assistance, feel free to drop them in the comments below, or reach out to me on my website, Level 28 Media. I have the links in my description below. If you're running PPC, Google Ads, and you need assistance, whether it's an audit or managed services, and you're spending at least $2,000 a month, I'm happy to have a discussion with you. Check out the description, and I will see you guys in the next video.